Good morning, everybody. This is Stephen Pugh of the Home Bible College. I want to do another video in a series on the Pastors Course. This is video number 18. It's under the letter C, and it is Begin Studies in Theology and a Topical Survey of Christian Truth. Okay, so I'll read that again. Begin Studies in Theology and a Topical Survey of Christian Truth. Now, the Christian pastor is an expert in the Bible. Okay, we know that. But there is another thing that he slowly becomes an expert in too, and that is systematic theology. Now you may be saying, what's that? So getting into the Bible itself is indispensable. It's called natural theology because it deals with the Bible in a natural form. But there's also systematic theology. Now, systematic theology deals with the subjects of the Bible in a systematic manner. Let me give you an example of this. There's no book in the Bible that you can go to about prayer. There isn't a book you can go to about the gospel. There isn't a book of the Bible that you can go to about church fellowship. But what you can do is you can study the subject of prayer drawing from all over the Bible. You can talk about Christian fellowship by drawing on those books of the Bible that deal with the Christian church. Do you see the point? So what systematic theology does is it gathers together material from all over the Bible. That's systematic theology. Now, it could be that you have a statement of faith which will grow and grow with you as you learn more things and commit to paper what you have come sincerely to believe. The subjects of your statement of faith could become the subjects of specific files on your shelf or on your computer. In fact, you could use just a notebook which has an index and is a place where you drop your thoughts whenever they come to mind. So, for example, you think of some aspect of Christ, so you can open that section or a page and note your thoughts down with the biblical or the author or with the book references. When your book is full or nearly full, you can then go through the subjects in your book, writing them up in a logical format. This will become a systematic theology, and you will be in the midst of a lifelong journey of discovery in theology and in consistent Bible study. So that's the point, you see. The pastor not only looks at the Bible in the form in which God has given it, but he also looks at the Bible topically. He does it systematically, systematic theology. So, of course, there are lots of topical subjects. These studies arrange every subject of the Bible into lists of references and lots of other references. And these topical books are great as a resource when you want to think about a subject. So I've got in my thing here what's called Nave's Topical Bible. Now, it's just a concordance, but it's a concordance that arranges the subjects of the Bible by their theme or by their topic, okay, or by their doctrine. That is what we call systematic theology. So, apart from being a Bible student, you will need to become a theology student. The Bible is the place where we start, and you will never really get very far away from the Bible all your life. But theology, which is the study of God and his deeds, will become a matter of huge interest to you. Of course, you will begin to become familiar with all the major areas of study related to Christianity. Do you remember what the Apostle Paul said in Acts chapter 20, verse 27? He says, I shrank not from declaring unto you the whole counsels of God. That's in Acts chapter 20, verse 27. So the Apostle Paul had in his mind the whole of the teaching, the whole of the counsel of God. And he says, and I declared all of it to you. He didn't have a particular part that he left out. He didn't have a particular favourite part that he mentioned all the time. No, he had all of it, which he delivered all the time. So let me ask you something. These are the questions for each pastor to think about. Do you have any systematic theologies on your shelf? Now, some of you may have the theology of Lewis Sperry Schaeffer. You might have I've got various theologies. I've got a book here called What the Bible Teaches. What the Bible Teaches. So it's a systematic approach to what the Bible teaches. The next question is, have you read any of them? And if so, how much have you read? Do you know these books can be very dry? Very dry indeed. Dry as a biscuit. I tell you, very dry. How useful were they for you? I've got some theologies here, and I've tried to dip into them. Dear. You could take a bucket of water with them. They're as dry as anything. They're not alive. They're not living. Of course, that doesn't always have to be the case. I mean, I have a number of theologies which are utterly mouth-watering. I mean, I've got one by Harold St. John, the collected writings of Harold St. John. And every single page, is full of deeply rooted theological thought. But also at the same time, it's readable. And it's a joy to read it. So that's the difference in different types of theology books. Do you have any notes already on theology? Things that you've written for yourself. Do you have any notes on that? Maybe not. Next one, have you begun to build your own theology summary? Now that's a challenge. So you take all of the major doctrines of the Christian church and you say, right, on the subject of God, what am I going to say about that, which summarizes the teaching of Scripture on that subject? Are there any areas of special interest that you would like to be studying first? That's a great question, isn't it? I'm sure that each one of you will immediately come to light and say, oh yes, there's certain things that I would like to really be studying straight away. Well, there we are. That's your areas of interest. That's where you begin. And so in time, you will develop a very large book or a very large series of books or files in which all of your notes are carefully recorded. You know, Harold St. John, one of my great heroes, he always had a little practice. He would have some easily, the little mini notebooks that you have for school, the little mini notebooks for school. They're not many pages. They're just a very simple little thing. They're cheap as chips. They cost you 50p in the shop or something. And he used to scribble his notes in. As he was going through the day and as he was working, as he was studying and all the rest of it, he just scribble notes. And then on a Saturday morning, right, early in the morning, the place was silent and he would sit there and with a proper fountain pen, he would carefully write up in his very best handwriting those notes that he'd scribbled down in the week. He used to call it his fair copy book, a lovely copy handwritten book of all the things that he'd been discovering during the week. And those books upon books upon books, became the treasure trove of where he would write his theology. Well, there you are. There's an awful lot of thoughts to think about for today. We look forward to speaking to you next time. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.